Hi, I'm BL Achman, and I have the great pleasure of being here today with William Santana Li, who's the CEO of Knightscope, the company that's making robots to protect us in public spaces. So for those of us who are not familiar with the company, give me a brief description of what you do.
So we're developing and now have deployed technology in the long term to be able to predict and prevent crime. In the short term, we work on deterring, detecting, and reporting. These are 5-foot tall, 3-foot wide, 400-pound machines that patrol indoors or outdoors autonomously, meaning not remote control. These are basically self-driving cars that generate a massive amount of data every year to allow security guards and law enforcement officers to better protect the places you visit and the places you work.
So in New York City, you're at LaGuardia Airport and you're at Lefrak City. Are you in any other locations in New York?
A couple of machines at State Plaza in New Jersey. I think we've got one in Delaware, a couple in Rhode Island. So we're starting to make our way. We hold contracts in about 15 states across 4 time zones, running 24/7, fully autonomously.
What can your robots spot?
These machines do the monotonous, computationally heavy stuff that no human could ever possibly do. So, for example, it could read 1,200 license plates a minute, run it against the database, and understand if that person was recently terminated and might be back to cause some issues, or there's a domestic dispute at the hospital and the spouse keeps coming over causing all kinds of problems. It can detect different signals within 450 feet of the machine, and it can also detect a person. And the guards can also use it as a mobile PA system. So God forbid there's a live shooter situation, the guard can speak through a machine and also broadcast different messages. It's a combination of autonomous technology, artificial intelligence, and robotics into something that's quite useful for our clients.
Every time I tell people that I'm looking at your company, they say, is this another way that robots are going to replace jobs?
Yes, my immediate talking point for this morning is the robots are coming to kill us all. They're going to take everyone's job. Every 15 years.
That I had to ask it.
It's the same type of thing. Does the hammer take the carpenter's job away? No, this is a tool. It's a profound tool to give the guards superhuman capabilities to see around the corner, to detect something that a human eye or ear would not be able to detect. But these are working in concert with humans, and despite what some of the talking points are out there, no, the robots are here, and they're actually here to do some good.
I'm interested in how you built your company, and I heard you speak the other night, and you were saying that you took no venture capital money, that you're selling shares at $8 a share, and yet the company's obviously in business and thriving. So what is the background on that?
So the company's 5 years old. There's about $80 billion of investment that goes into startups, maybe doled out by about 800 VCs. There's a time and place for a VC, but for us, it's not the right fit. There isn't one with a track record and a sector expertise in law enforcement, physical security, robots, and hardware, and we shouldn't be paying for a premium of that type of capital. I'd rather have the chief security officer of a major corporation, the vice president of leasing of a major mall, FBI, DHS, CIA, NYPD, folks that have been backing the company. We've got nearly 6,000 investors. Would never dare trade those out for 2 or 3 or 4 VCs. We've raised $40 million to date, and now we're operating across the country, and we're raising another round of growth capital. If all goes well, should be our pre-IPO financing. Federal government changed the rules recently to allow a private company to do a public offering and remain private. So you can literally go to knightscope.com and buy primary shares directly from us if you're an accredited investor.
I heard you say that you would not accept contracts in Japan or China or foreign countries, even though there was a lot of money involved in those offers. What is the reason for that?
95% of startups fail, 80% never make it to their 3rd anniversary, 50% fail the first year. One of my jobs is to take as much risk out of the business as possible. Adding risk outside of the US, this is already really, really difficult. The last thing we need to be doing is we're operating in 16 states. There's 34 more to go. I think that's a discussion for the board of directors to have after the IPO when we're bored out of our minds and don't know anything else to do. But until then, we're quite busy with what we've had on our plate.
When I asked you the other night, who are your competitors, you gave a very interesting answer to that. Most of them are out of business.
There's a lot of people building prototypes. So excluding onesie prototypes type of thing, there's been about 4 competitors or potential competitors, I should say. 3 of them have folded. I think part of the reason is the execution of this is really, really difficult. Again, these are effectively self-driving cars. If you don't have any sector expertise, if you don't understand the market, you're going to have a big problem. And our sales team is all ex-law enforcement, military, or otherwise senior executives from the physical security industry. So we know the space rather well.
But I know you have a showroom in New York because that's where I met you. And I see you're in your showroom now in Silicon Valley. Is this a big part of the marketing or is there more to it?
We're trying to get society to better understand that technology can be super helpful. And I come from the auto industry. The auto industry is over 100 years old. 17 million new cars sold annually. There's 33,000 new car and used car dealerships. For some reason, humans still want to go to the dealership and make sure the door opens and closes. Similarly, for our new technology, they want to come, see, feel, touch, and understand the technology, no different than you did when you came and visited with us in New York in Midtown Manhattan. So it's been an interesting facet of marketing this. But also we do trade shows and normal kind of business-to-business stuff that normally happens with the company.
When people see the robots, how do they react to them?
When we first started, we were scared of what would happen. Would people riot or would people not be willing to engage? But it's been the complete opposite. It's a kid magnet. The showroom's all open 24/7 in terms of the machines operating in there. So there's people gathered around 2 o'clock in the morning. We've got machines running around with lipstick on them, so many robot selfies. It brings a kid out of everyone. It's been actually quite fascinating.
So you can record what people say when they're with the robot. What are the funny things that people say to it?
We don't record, only if someone's pressed a button and they're in distress do we record that. But otherwise, people have all the Hollywood fictional character. That's the other thing. We need to kind of remind society that everything that's on the big movie screen is fictional.
You're not RoboCop. You're not R2-D2.
No, but I can say that these machines have already started helping society. We've helped the law enforcement agency issue an arrest warrant for a sexual predator. We helped a security guard apprehend a thief in a retail establishment. We stopped a fraudulent insurance claim. We caught a corporate vandal, and the list goes on and on and on. And we're just getting started. Our long-term mission is to see if we can make the United States of America the safest country in the world and literally change everything for everyone. And we're on the path to do exactly just that.
That's a pretty wonderful goal. Now tell me about what that is behind you. It looks like a car.
So there's the K7. So if you go on Knightscope.com, there's 4 products. 3 of them are in production. 1 of them we're still working on. There's a K1 that's a stationary unit, K3 for indoors. There's a K5 here behind me, primarily for outdoors. And then we've got this K7 is a multi-terrain machine. It's about the size of a small car to handle more difficult properties. Think of gravel, dirt, sand, etc.
It's a very cool looking vehicle, I have to say. So I guess that's what's next is to expand into all terrain.
What's next is building whatever technologies is going to help better cure our country and help our clients.